Hello, I'm G. Shane Dinkel. I'm running for the U.S. Senate. I'm a native Oregonian. I was born right here in Central Oregon in Prineville. And except for time in the military, I've lived here in Central Oregon most of my life. Come from an old family in the area. And for the last years, since 1988 when I came off active duty with the U.S. Army, I've led a dual life. One side I've been a military officer. The other side, my wife and I have run a business and created wealth in the private sector and built houses and things like that. So I'm running for U.S. Senate because I believe that in the last year our government has gone way outside its bounds. As I was serving in Iraq, I noticed that the Congress was ramming through bills without consent of the people. They were doing things outside the bounds of parliamentary procedure. And they were also doing things that the American people did not want. If I am elected to the United States Senate, what I will try to do for Oregon is keep the federal government out of your lives as much as possible. I don't promise to bring back one thing from Washington. What I promise to do is to keep more of your money in your pocket so you can do with it as you wish. What the government has done to us in the last 50 years has taken away the initiative of Americans, slowly but surely taken away our ability to create wealth, and they have impinged upon our entrepreneurial spirit. I want to go to Washington. I want to help take back the House and the Senate and get the federal government out of Oregonians' lives as much as possible. Also, I want to look into returning the bulk of the federal land that's held in Oregon, which is 80% of Oregon, to the Oregonian people. I want that stuff to go back to us, back to the state, back to the counties, who are the rightful owners of that land, and not the federal government. I do not believe that we need to have this continuous increase in the federal deficit. What we are doing is mortgaging the future of our children and our grandchildren. We are creating a monster that we'll never be able to pay. We don't have a taxation problem. We have a spending problem, especially emphasized in the last 18 months or so. Congress has spent like crazy, and when they have a saving, they don't want to actually save it. They just want to spend it on something else. We need to get the federal deficit under control. And the way you do that is not by cutting. Cutting in Washington means a smaller increase. What you need to do is take the axe to whole departments of the federal government and get rid of departments of the government. That's the only way you're going to get it under control. As far as the states' rights are concerned, as I've said before, the federal government has gotten way too big for its britches. It was mandated to do things originally by the founding fathers simply to hold the United States together. It was never given the right to interfere with individual states' operations. It was never given the right to declare wetlands within somebody's property. It was set up to govern best by governing least, and only did things that the collective states could not effectively do, such as defense. Now it has grown into a grandiose entitlement corporation that wants to control every aspect of our lives. We are headed for socialism if we don't let the states exercise their rights under the Constitution the way they were intended to. Oregon used to be an economic powerhouse. I remember when I was a kid, you couldn't go 20 miles down the road without passing 20 log trucks. We need to return to that position. We need to get the federal government out of the way so we can get in and get at our resources such as timber, agriculture, and fisheries. We need to be able to exercise our right to harvest our resources wisely without excessive regulation. We have had so many fires in the last few years where timber was wasted, gone back into the atmosphere without ever being used for anything useful, simply because the courts held it up so long that the timber became useless. We need to get the federal government out of our way, and that way we can create jobs. We can create real jobs, not government jobs, real jobs in the private sector if we simply get government out of our way. Looking at Ron Wyden, Jim Huffman, and the other Republicans in this race, I believe I have the best combination of skills to accomplish what we need to accomplish in Washington. We don't need another lawyer there to be pragmatic, as in Huffman and Wyden's case. We need somebody like me who's been a warrior, to go in there, to stand on the table, tell the other senators, this isn't about you, this isn't about your political career. This is about saving our republic. We need to act now if we want to have a republic. We need to act now if we want to roll back the communist, Marxist manifesto that's engulfing our government. We need to act now if we want to have an America that we enjoyed and keep it for our children and our grandchildren. I'm G. Shane Dinkel, and I'm asking for your vote. Thank you.